Hi everyone, my name is Katie Schubert, and I'd like to talk to you today about conversations regarding faith and spirituality and what role and place they have in our conversations with our patients as medical professionals. So, I currently practice as an intensive care nurse here in San Diego, California, and I've been doing that for almost a decade. And I would say that, in my professional opinion, conversations regarding faith and spirituality have an enormous role in what I do on a daily basis. The current hospital that I work for actually includes spiritual care as part of our intake conversations that we have with our patients. It's really important to the organization that I work for, and it's very important to me as a nurse to know where a person stands spiritually. And I really like the hope model in the spiritual assessment article that Dr. Matthews posted this week in this assignment. And I feel that model most closely resembles the conversations that I have with my patients when I admit them to the ICU, and that would start with the with sources of hope, sources of spirituality, assessing whether or not someone actually has a spiritual practice or follows a particular religion. Just that those initial questions alone, I'm able to learn so much about where that person stands spiritually. And then the O is the organized religion. If someone does have a spiritual practice, they'll usually end up speaking right away about any organized religion that they're a part of, and that also opens the door for me to make any offerings for getting a spiritual care advisor, chaplain, priest, or someone like that at the bedside if that's what that person wishes to have. It's also really important for us as medical professionals to know if there's any type of treatment that a person may or may not be able to receive while in the hospital because of their spiritual practices or their religion. And working in ICU, sadly, we do a lot of times deal with end-of-life issues. So end-of-life practices definitely need to be addressed when coming into the intensive care environment. And I would be lying if I said that I felt that nursing school properly prepared me to have the faith-based spiritual conversations that I have with my patients and their families. In fact, I found a really interesting article titled "Talking About Spiritual Matters: First-Year Nursing Students' Experiences of an Assignment on Spiritual Conversations," and that's by Kuvan and Gisk. And they discuss at length how unprepared nursing students feel at actually having these really deep, vulnerable spiritual conversations with their patients. And I would completely agree with those remarks. But I also am very grateful to nursing as a profession for helping me rediscover my own spiritual practice. Nursing is a deeply spiritual profession, whether or not other nurses want to admit that or not. I feel that I could not fully show up for these people that I serve if I was not spiritually self-aware and if I did not have my own faith-based practice. I feel that having that spiritual practice and having that faith and a power far greater than my own is what allows me to fully show up for these people each day and be able to hold space for them and be really vulnerable. And no matter what spiritual practice or religion they follow, I honor that, and I see that it's all coming from a place of love, and it's all coming from a place of the universal need to find meaning and purpose in life. I also found another part of this article by Kuvan and Gisk very interesting. The International Council of Nurses Code of Ethics actually states that nurses are indeed responsible for addressing a patient's spiritual needs. I thought that was really cool, and I totally agree with that. Like I said before, I'm totally well versed in talking to patients about their spiritual needs at the bedside. I used to be a little bit uncomfortable with that, but I think that that's just a growth process, and a learning, a learning curve, if you will. It's not always comfortable to have those conversations with people, but I think once you realize the payoff and the reward of finding out what's truly important to another human being will immediately take you out of that zone of discomfort and bring you so much joy, because we're all looking for connection. And at the end of the day, that's what spirituality is. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much and have a blessed day.